All right, friends. Now we've got an idea of what the Context API is. And we know how to use it. And I know you're going to like it a lot more when you start to use it with hooks. So, why don't we just get into using hooks? Well, this is a lesson we're going to start this new topic, and it is indeed React hooks. So, hooks. It's a new addition to the React library, and they cause a really big impact in the React world when they first came out. So let's have a look at what they are and why they've caused such a big impact. So basically, hooks are just special functions, but they allow us to do things inside the functional components in React that normally we'd only be able to do inside of a class components. For instance, using state or lifecycle methods. Normally, we could only do that in a class component, but by using hook functions, we can access states in functional components. So if we want to use states in a component, now we don't have to use a class component anymore. We can now write a functional component, which sometimes is much easier to read and can be more reusable in the future. So, class components are not going to go anywhere. They're still very widely used, and they're going to have their place for a while. But hooks, it's just a different approach that we can use now for fun and efficiency. So there are a few different hook functions in React which do different things, and I'll show you some of the, important hook functions. So for example, we have a useState hook, which allows us to use states inside of a functional component. And we have this useEffect hook, which allows us to run code whenever a component renders or re-renders. And we have a useContext hook, which allows us to consume context in a functional component. Okay, so there's a few, and we're going to be taking a look at all of these different hooks going forward. But first of all, why don't we just set up a new React application to learn the hook functions? What? Why are we going to have to create a new application? It's cool. I just like to create a new React application to explore hooks because I don't want to use context for now. And I just want to separate these two topics, and you'll see why in a little while. But please don't delete the Context API project. All right? You'll see where we're going soon. So I'm going to keep this Context API application, and we'll come back to this Context API a little bit later on because we're going to start putting the hooks and context together. We'll combine hooks and context in the Context API project, and then therefore we're going to see both use cases of Context API. All right, so you can see that I am in this directory, so I'll set up the application on my desktop, and I'll say npx create React app, and I'll call this app hooks. So I'll just press enter and start the creation of the application. All right, so while this is installing, let's just take a short break here, and I'll come back to you in the next lesson.